Hi and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Hilde Larsen and I'm here today to talk to you about liver flushing. If you're seeking health, I know you've probably heard the word before and there's been a lot of talk about the topic. Now, if you know anything about me, you know that I'm a health and mindset coach. I'm also a detox specialist. I'm a speaker and author of 3 books, but most of all, I'm a life enthusiast. And I speak from experience. I speak from working with clients, but I'm not a doctor. So I'm not going to diagnose you, I'm not going to tell you what to do, and I'm not going to draw you into any regime that will not fit for where you are right now, how your health is, and your mindset is, because this is also a lot about mindset. We know this, right? Yeah, we know this. So I'm here to talk to you about liver flushing. And this is the reason. There's so much information out there. I want you to be able to sit down for a minute and think about this. Now, is liver flushing anything remotely near natural? No. Is taking an enema natural? No. Why are we doing it? Well, the thing is this. We're so messed up. We're so sick. So many of us. And I'll tell you a little bit about my story with that, because I've done a crazy amount of liver flushing to freaking save my life. So a lot of what we need to do right now is actually jump in to use the tools that we have. And yes, we are experimenting on the human body right now. Every child species almost, well, at least as living in our society today, is an experiment. We're being experimented on by the medical industry. We're being experimented on by the food industry. Everything you put into your mouth has been altered in some way. If you're not way out of nature, out of chemtrails, out of EMFs, growing your own food, or better, it's wild. This is rare, and we know this. So we're trying to adjust. And let me tell you, if we're dying, if we're in pain, if we can't create anymore, if we can't have fun, if we can't dance and play, we're going to use the tools that we have, right? Right, to get better. So, would I say do an enema every day just because you feel like it? Never. It's not natural to put water up your butt. Would I say do an enema if you've been constipated for a week and you can't get anything to move? Heck yeah. I mean, I would just feel so blessed that that was an option for me. Would I do a liver flush just to play around because I had nothing else to do that day? No, I wouldn't. But would I, if I was really struggling with my health and I was under either a supervision of a coach or specialist like myself, or if I had educated myself, which is the other option, of course, yes, I would do a liver flush, of course. Why? Because it can really help you relieve all of those stones that are building up, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what they are, what they're not, and all the information that's out there and from what I've seen from my experience and, of course, working with my clients. Now, first of all, what's the liver flush? How do you do one? And how does it work in the body? And I'm not going to get, technical about this, because that's not the point. The point is what we see, what we feel. And me, I have done close to 60 liver flushes. My liver is still up and running. I'm still up and running. I feel better and better. And actually, I did one last night. Why? Because I do one every year now, just for maintenance. And was there any stones coming out? No, there wasn't. Because I'm pretty clean now. And it felt amazing. So would the stones be made from the olive oil? Of course not. That would mean that every time we did one, we'd get the same amount of stones out, right? And that would mean that all the stones would be the soft, little light ones, not the darker green ones, right? There's so many. We just need to open up our eyes, experiment, and take the information in and chew on it and feel it. And yes, there are other ways of aiding the liver. A lot of herbs, milk thistle, dandelion, anything bitter, grapefruit juice, so great for the liver. Always have been, always will be. I'm talking about flushing the liver when it really needs that kick. And when would that be, you might say? Stick around and I'll tell you. How do you do it? I'm going to tell you right now, right here. Yes, I'm still using the Epsom salt, but I'm using it in much smaller quantity than Hilde Clark or Andreas Moritz were. They were the two front figures of the liver flush. They used it in their practice with their clients and they saw amazing results, as have I. Myself, I went through being so freaking sick. I was bedridden after my RA diagnosis, rheumatoid arthritis, being medicated for years. Lyme's disease, anxiety, depression, ulcers, you name it. I had it. I lived it. I couldn't even move. I started right here, flushing my liver. Yes, this was before I knew about raw food. This was before I knew about fruits. I knew about herbs, but not specific enough. But the liver flushing has always been with me. And to this day, I incorporate it with my clients when it's needed, at the appropriate time for them. And I need to tell you this. This is what we see on the internet today. You have to remember, everyone is out there spreading information. And yes, people will get in trouble from doing anything. From just changing their diet, people can get in trouble. Why? Because they can be so obstructive, so full of crap, that they can be doing it in a manner that's not safe for them. And they might not even be aware of what's going on within their body, or they're jumping in too fast. We have to take this into consideration, doing this experiment on ourselves. Because that's what we're doing. Some of us has been doing it for a long time, and some of us have seen, so we trust and we live this. But we're all pioneers. We're all doing this to show the future generations that you don't need to be stuck in a limbo of dis-ease. You can empower yourself by going back to nature and by using some simple tools when you have to smooth yourself over. It's the same thing about juicing. The most natural thing is to pick a fruit and eat it. But when you are so congested and you're so low on energy and you're so dehydrated, squeezing and getting the juices right into you, bypassing digestion, when you have no absorption, it's not that the body needs it at all. It's that the particular body is so far from functioning optimally that it will benefit from doing it that way. So when a body is really plugged up, say that you've been on medications for a long time, or you've been doing drugs, those things especially burden the liver. Just detoxing heavy metals burdens the liver. So all of our eliminative organs will need some extra love. It goes for all of them, because we're putting an enormous burden on them when we're detoxifying. Meaning we're not detoxifying, but when we're allowing our body to cleanse. So first, the liver flush. It's easy. So I would say the week working yourself up to the liver flush. Oh, and by the way, you can go to my website and you can download, it says liver flush process on the shop. Liver flush process has the whole thing if you want to print it out. It's a doggy. So the week before, I want you to consume apples. Yes, you can chew the apples, but the amount of apples you need, or that will be very beneficial, most often I would say juice them. That could be equivalent to like 0.7 deciliters a day of apple juice, maybe around 6-7 apples. Green ones I like better. We're doing it for the malic acid. The malic acid in the apples will soften your stones. And we want the stones to be softened so that they can easily be pushed out of your body, your liver, your gallbladder, into your intestinal tract. Now, you do that the week, say 5 days prior. Now, getting to the day of the flush that you decided was the best day for you, and which is a good day? Well, I would say a Saturday or a Sunday, no, a Saturday or a Friday night, so that you don't have to go to work in the morning if that's the days that you have off. So you would have to figure out your schedule. Why? Because you might have the runs in the morning. You might have to go to the bathroom a lot in the morning releasing. So it'd be a good thing. And you've been through an ordeal. I mean, it is an ordeal for the body to release that many toxins at once. So you will notice that. You'll feel a little out of it maybe that morning, you know. Sleep more because the night might not have been so calm and sleepy. I'll get to that. So this is what you do on the day. You end or you eat your last meal no later than 4 p.m. And that day needs to be a light eating day. I'm talking no fats, no salts. I want to see you on a fruit. I want to see you on a fruit breakfast, and I want to see you on a fruit or light salad lunch. No fat, no avocado, no oil, no dressing, no salt, no spices. Just the fruits and greens. So if you can just do fruits, it's much better. Do the fruits in the morning, do a smoothie, and then do another smoothie at 4. And if you're feeling a little hungry, it's okay. You're not going to die from being hungry one day. You know, that's another thing. Outside the comfort zone is perfectly fine. So, now, you're getting to 4 o'clock. You've had your last meal. This is what you do. You get your Epsom salt and some pure water. I'm always with a distilled when I'm taking in water. So, I've minimized the use of Epsom salt. Why? I find it dehydrating, but I still want the benefits. And what are the benefits when I'm talking about a liver flush? I am talking about relaxing the bile ducts. Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate. It will relax the bile ducts. So we have softened the stones, we're relaxing the ducts so that the body will have a much easier job flushing this out. So I take 1 tablespoon, divided into 2 8-ounce glasses. So this is what I do. I take a 16 ounce of water into a jug, 1 tablespoon of Epsom salt. I stir it, put a lid on, and put it in the fridge. It's much more palatable, I find, and easier to digest if it's been sitting for a little while than, you know, just. So into the fridge it goes. Then, that was 4 o'clock. Then I prepared. At 6 o'clock, you drink your first 8-ounce glass of this potion. At 8 o'clock, you drink your second portion of this potion. So it takes you to 8 o'clock. Can you drink anything in between? No. Can you eat anything in between? No. No thing. Then comes nighttime. Now, the older protocols said 10 o'clock, good night, lay down, drink, and be done with it. I'm saying I've seen it pushed until 11 and I didn't see any difference. So depending on who you are, I know that going to bed around 10 would be optimal. To me, it's not my regular thing. I'm a little later than that. So if you want to go to bed 10, fine. If you want to go to bed 11, fine. Whenever it is, you do this. You do 1.5 deciliter of olive oil. Make sure it's cold pressed, organic. You're worth it. Find a good olive oil because you're going to ingest it, right? 1.5 deciliter. I think that's around the cup. Double check that for me, would you? Then you're going to have the same amount of freshly squeezed, not juiced in a masticated juicer or a centrifugal juicer, squeezed, no pulp, grapefruit juice. So half and half, equal amounts, 1.5 deciliter olive oil and grapefruit juice. You bring it with you to your bedside because this is what's going to happen. When you drink that, you lay down, you don't get back up. So get done everything you need to do first. Brush your teeth, go to the bathroom, clean your kitchen, do whatever you need, say nighty-night, sit down, stir vigorously because it's, you know, it's oil, but it will blend pretty quickly. but if you stop stirring, it will separate again. So stir and then down. Once it's down, you are going down. Now there's been a lot of discussion on laying on the back, on the right side, on the left side. This is what I did yesterday. Because I was like, was it left side? Was it right side? It's been that long, but I don't think it matters that much. But what I did was I laid on my right side for about what I could remember, around 20 minutes. Then I moved over to my left side and I went back to my back and I slept on my back. Now, what will you feel? And I know there's a lot of fear, and I want you to do research, and I want you to reach out and ask if this is for you. Because yes, it's training for the body. I mean, and we can be talking about nausea, pain. I don't see people really experiencing, although I'm sure it's out there. But nausea, gurgling, you know, that's mostly it. And then, you know, from that and other processes, not having such a good night's sleep. Again, leading you into the morning where you might not feel that good, you know, or that perky. And also the Epsom salt could give you the runs. For some it doesn't, for some it does. Now in the morning, for the people that are really curious, they put like a coriander type of thing in their toilet, and they on that, and they look and they rinse and they see, you know, what came out. If you don't want to do that, which most people don't want to do, you can just, I mean, look, the stones, they float, okay? They float. So, and that's all that's to it. And what I've seen is this. Now, why do you think there would be stones and stones and stones? Because that kind of got to me. Because I was thinking, oh my God, I was doing this over and over, and there were stones and stones, and I'm like, this can't all be in here. Like, how much could have been in there in the first place? Until I realized, no, my body's producing stones. Why? To protect me from the ongoing toxic load going to my liver. I was so crazy at one point in time, I desiccated, meaning I cut up a couple of the stones, and lo and behold, there were parasites on the inside. This is real, people. And one thing that I see keep them coming is heavy metal, because they bind to heavy metal. So if you're one of those that had a heavy metal issue, you know, or are working through heavy metals, that is, you know, one thing that can keep you having stones being produced that are clogging up your liver. And that's what it's doing. It's just inhibiting the liver from, you know, running smoothly and optimally. Except for this, on that day, you can do whatever you want. There's no restriction. I mean, the flush is done when you lay down. So when you're laying in bed that night when you drink, the flush is done. So there's no protocol the next day. But, you know, needless to say, you've had an ordeal that night, and you had the light meal the night before. So I would absolutely ease into juicing, you know, just to aid the body in continuing the flushing. So the next day I would do juices until lunch, and then I would do, you know, a light fruit meal, and then in the evening I'll go back more to my, you know, towards my regular regime, whatever that is. But I would also use the liver flush to inspire myself to walk forward with a better diet than I came in, right? Because they're always working to do better and to have the amazing results. So that's my take on the liver flush. And if you have any more questions about that, just feel free to ask me below. And you know, I can't do specifics below, but you can always, you know, shoot me an email about that, or just go to my website, InspiredByHilde.com, and click on contact, and then you can ask me. Because you know, on social media and open forum, I'm a professional, so I'm not allowed to give out health, you know, suggestions like that. And it needs to be like that. And I know that you understand. And I thank you for listening to me. And I thank you for being here, and I thank you for being on my tribe. And for all of you members, remember that in the memberships, you know, in the membership group, you do have the liver flush all set up, and we're doing it now and then. So jump back in there and really use those resources, because they're amazing. And I see how every member just keeps getting better and better and better and better from all the tools that we have in there and all the support that's there. Okay, so namaste, my friends, and amazing health to you. Spend the day on the outside, you know, in nature, wherever you're at. And don't worry about the weather. I mean, look at me. It's blowing, it's cold, but cold is alkalizing. Cold is invigorating. Cold is making me stretch and do better. So you can always use whatever weather you have to build a better, healthy platform for you. So namaste, my friends. Thank you.